officially live at the NBA Finals. I do wonder if Golden State's going to have more. The one good thing about the Celtics that I think is the best thing is every team that they play has a lineup that's good offensively but hurts them defensively, or good defensively but hurts them offensively. The Celtics don't have that. They just have 7 or 8 guys that all play, and they're all good at defense, and they're also the best offensive players that they have. It's not like you've got the Duncan Robinson or the hero type guy that you're trying to hide, you know? The Golden State doesn't have that. Golden State has that. You've got Curry. You've got their best offensive lineup is Curry, Draymond, Poole, and Clay. But you're going to have 2 guys out there that are horrible defensively that the Celtics can hunt mismatches. So when they want offense, they have to go to a lineup that's potentially scary. If they want defense, they're going to go to a lineup that's going to have a hard time scoring because you can really key on their shooters and defend the perimeter the way the Celtics do and make life difficult for them. So I am kind of interested here if Golden State's the one that's more trying to figure out what kind of lineup to play against the Celtics instead of the other way around.
Yeah, I think it's underrated how big of a problem this matchup is for the Warriors. There's so much size on the Boston end, so much physicality.
Even small is big for Boston. That's the thing. When they go small, they're big because your point guards and your guards are 6'4" and physical. Mm-hmm. So their small ball lineup is too big for Golden State.
That's why Rob not being there is a little.
Yeah,
it takes away a little bit of the pain of not having Rob, I think, because you're going to see less paint play. They're smaller.
Yeah.
And if I'm Golden State, I'm running Klay Thompson off of every screen. I mean, if I'm Boston, I'm running him off screens. I'm running him into everybody. He's struggled defensively since he's been back, and the dude has been going. He's got to, at some point, you got to exploit the fact that he doesn't defend like he used to, and I think the injury too as well.
Clay's going to try, but he's not the same guy. And then again, Curry and Poole, if they're both out there and Golden State's looking for offense, that's a lineup you can exploit.
What about Peyton?
And if you right. Go ahead, Bobby.
It's got to be the same formula they used against all 3 of their opponents, frankly. Hunting, getting downhill, and tiring out the stars. They got to be sending bodies at Curry to not only wear out him with their defense, but attack him on the offensive end. As you talked about, Nick, right there, get these guys going through screens, good screens, get them in mismatches in the post, send Tatum downhill at them. Smart's good at that stuff. There's a ton of offensive weapons that the Celtics have that they can use to put these guys into actions and really exploit the fact, as John said there, that they're going to want to go small. They're going to want to play 3 guards. That's going to be hard to do against the Celtics, and the Celtics have to make them pay. Really. Here's the flip side, though. This is the big weakness for Boston coming in. There's a lot of guys on the Golden State side that can rush the ball handlers, make Boston turn the ball over, and make them frantic offensively so that they're not able to even get into those sets. And I think the book's kind of out on the Celtics when it comes to that. Gary Payton's going to be key in this series, coming back from his injury. He's a disruptor. And him and Green, they're going to go at Tatum and Brown at the point of attack and try to make them turn the ball over, rush, play in a crowd. The Warriors, as small as they are, they're right there with the Celtics defensively. These are the 2 best defenses in the league going out in the finals for the first time, I think, since '96. I heard earlier today.
The Bulls and the Sonics, I think. Yeah. So Supersonics.
As undermanned as the Warriors look on the defensive end, when you think about Curry and Clay and some of the guys that might seem weaker on that end, as a collective, when you think about what Green does and some of the bench guys who are really good defenders, they have options to throw at Tatum and Brown. And just like we say, the Celtics will have a tough time, or the Warriors will have a tough time keeping up with Boston's size. The Celtics might have a tough time getting into their offense against Golden State. So there's a tit for tat in this series that's really fun to think about.
Attack the paint. Don't get in a 3-point shooting competition. I'm running them and I'm attacking the paint off the break. Because if they start getting into a 3-point shootout with these guys, it will be over.
Oh, it's over. Yeah.
In 4. Because they're so bad. I don't want it to go all boomer rage, but they're so bad when they're bad that I don't have to say this. It affects everything, and I just don't want to even see them shoot threes. If I'm Ime,
they're bad when they're shuttling. When they're settling, when they're rushing, when they're
Mhm.
hectic offensively, they're
Yeah.
the worst versions of themselves, and you worry
I'm
about
gonna-
them
Well,
getting back into it in this series.
But what's interesting is Golden State's a sloppy mess too, and
They
they're
are.
they're a frustrating team to watch for Golden State. They go through stretches where they can't score.
Mhm.
They throw the ball away. They're
But
very
John, they move
careless.
the ball.
They do. But they also, like I said, I think we have two things. The mystique of what Golden State was versus what they are, and they're still a very good team. Plus, seeing the Sports Center highlights version of the Golden State Warriors, which is like splash, 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 wow, and not recognizing there are times where they do have droughts. And again, it's still they had a relatively easy road. They still have the highest offensive rating of every team in the playoffs, and they had the second highest defensive rating during the regular season. It probably would have been the highest if Draymond doesn't get hurt. So obviously they're good, but
Steph
we're gonna
didn't
get
shoot
into
well.
we're gonna get into that matchup in a second.